Man, lighting. I guess that's somewhat more tolerable. This is kind of a, well, we don't have video responses anymore. But I just watched, I'm slowly going through Irish's or Hiberniason's videos one at a time, and boy, he keeps pumping. Haas had to give him a video camera. I was hoping to have some time to catch up, but he did a great video called Incursion. It's talking about the incursion of Islam over Christendom throughout Europe and throughout the whole area in general. It's not just their incursion in the area, but it's their outbirthing everywhere in Europe, even Ireland. They're literally outbirthing because part of their what they're kind of following is their edict in their religion to have large families. So they're like outbirthing almost 5-to-1, and they even say that they're going to completely overpopulate by 2020, I think it is, 2025. And also another point is all the land that the Muslims had gained throughout history, once they've actually conquered an area, it's in their religion that says that that land is theirs forever once it's been conquered under Allah. So that's why you see all of North Africa constantly battling. You saw a lot of that, the problems of this in Kenya when they had those riots over the elections, and the actual factions that were in that election were one that was more predominantly Christian and another that was promising the Muslims more mosques if you elect me, so to speak. So it was literally almost a religious election at that point in time. I forget how long ago it was, about 4 or 5 years. I can't remember the exact time. I just know because I have members in my church who are from Kenya, and their family's house got burned down, so we had to raise a bunch of money to get them a place to live for a year until they built a new house. Really puts into perspective on elections, huh? Imagine if you had to worry about your house being burnt down if you go to an election. So I have no patience for people who don't go to vote, even though, regardless what you feel about it. Even the Iraqis under the being shelled. I have video of them being shelled, going to get voted, and put permanent ink on their finger with the possibility of being killed, and they still went and voted. But anyway, let's not go into that tangent. But sticking with Islam, and what's also interesting is, yes, the majority of Islam, pretty much a good portion of it, was conquering by the sword. And that's what the Crusades were an answer to. At one point there was safe passage to Jerusalem, pilgrimage, and then suddenly they decided not to honor that with, and plus, if you look in the Quran, any contract you do with an unbeliever technically is null and void. So they really don't have to honor it. That's what kind of led us into the Barbary Wars. We tried to deal with them, and they're like, listen, we're religiously obligated to do whatever we want to because you're a non-believer, you know? And that's just the way it is. So, that being said, you know, they actually stopped this invasion. Hiberniason talked about Vlad the Impaler. And then you also have, during the, when the Ottoman Empire went to Vienna, sorry about that. My phone has started to ring. So they went to Vienna, Austria, and they surrounded the area and sieged the city for somewhere in the neighborhood of 2 months. This is part of their constant move and conquest and trying to basically take over all of Europe. And so the King of Poland came down and basically conquered the army that was sieging the Ottoman army and forced them to sign a treaty. And from that period on, it was 1683, if I remember right. It was signed in 1683. And from that moment on, the Islamic Empire began. They were told that they would no longer, based on the treaty, they were instructed not to continue in their conquests, and that we were going to live in peace, and that's that. Enough is enough, basically. And so they agreed to it, and from that moment on, the Muslim Empire slowly receded through time until ultimately after World War II, since the Ottoman Empire decided to side with Hitler, they lost that end of the bargain. And that's why you see all of these territories broken up, and that's how the Middle East, as we know it today, was created after World War II. Now, what's interesting to note is September 11th, 1863. I believe, and many of the people who I associate with also believe, that is one of the reasons why September 11th was chosen as the attack on World Trade Center. And part of what they were trying to say is that that almost as if they were breaking that treaty, they're breaking it symbolically and showing that Islam is going to be on the rise. And you can also look at Dearborn, Michigan. Dearborn, Michigan actually has a call to prayer. They went all the way to the Supreme Court. They argued that since church bells are allowed to ring, then we should be able to do our call to prayer, just like you hear the Allah Akbar, like you see in like movies, or if you've actually been in the Middle East. And they do that. There's a call to prayer in Dearborn, Michigan. And basically because of immigration, which is also the issue with Europe, a lot of immigration, France specifically, a lot of Islamic immigration. And also, I agree with people that say that part of the reason why people are going towards Islam is also it's regimented. People want to be kind of told what to do. People want some kind of structure. And it provides that. And it also does very well in prison systems because it validates and gives an outlet to your anger. There's nothing wrong with, they talk about it being a peaceful religion, but may I kind of bring into light, Islam means submission, to submit. That's what Islam means. And Muhammad actually named his sword. I mean, he actually named his sword. And if you follow what goes on in the Middle East, you actually see them basically doing what the Prophet did, where he would break his promise with Medina and invade them. Basically, he waited until they were strong enough and then went, and then suddenly all of the revelations that he was getting from the angel Gabriel changed and said, now conquer in the name of Islam. So all of the peaceful surahs that a lot of these Muslims quote, whether they're radical or not, I mean, I'm not trying to paint this vast picture that all Muslims are evil, and a lot of them are just ignorant to the actual what Islam is about. And most or all of the peaceful surahs were abrogated or changed, and the only way it could be changed is if there was another revelation by Allah. And so that's what happened. All of the peaceful surahs then were replaced with those kill the Jew behind the tree, kill the infidel where you find them, that whole those lines many people here also quoted. I used to know the surah off the top of my head, but I don't, and I'm tired, and I'm just not going to go research just to do this quick video. But I link Incursion below, and it's one of many issues. This is one of the reasons why Iran and a lot of the is quite bold in a lot of what they're doing, and also within their own prophecies. Once King Abdullah dies in Saudi Arabia, that's going to be like a green light that, now is the time to cause chaos in the world, because that will usher in their Mahdi, the secret imam, the 12th imam. And he will meet Jesus, and they will conquer the world in the name of Islam together. But this is what these people believe. I mean, they actually believe. And the populace of Iran, they're not as gung-ho. It is mostly the government. And there is actually a huge surge of Christianity within Iran right now that doesn't get publicized. But that's another whole story, and I just wanted to throw this out here, put a little bit extra info atop the video that Hiberniason did. So his video is linked below, since we can't VR, but I guess this is technically a VR without being a VR. Do your best. Look out to the rest. Later, guys.